What's up, everybody? Josh Lucas, the coach, the premier armchair quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Typically, you get me in my work attire, but today, because they played on Thursday and I have Fridays off, you get me in my old hoodie and hat. This is my street apparel, so to say. Okay, you know the deal. I come at you with Browns content. Anytime there's Browns news, and specifically after Browns games. And here we are, the Friday after a Thursday night football game, which the Browns took the Steelers really to the woodshed. The game would be close because we are the Browns and we don't know how to win a game handedly. However, for the third week in a row, the Cleveland Browns have dominated their opponent, and only for it to come down to a last-second play. But, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how statistically it is possible for you to dominate your opponent 3 weeks in a row and for it to come down to last-second play. Now, we've come out on top twice. Realistically, we could be 3-0 if it wasn't for a once-in-a-generation type of collapse last week against the Jets. But at the very same, flip of the coin, even though the Browns on paper and just using your eyeball test have dominated their opponents in all 3 weeks, we could very easily be 0-3 as well. One thing that I am going to toot my horn about, though, and I told you this before the season started, when they named Jacoby Brissett the quarterback, a lot of you Baker bros and Dobbs bros were talking about Dobbs should be the quarterback. Man, we should have kept Baker. We're not going to do anything with Jacoby Brissett. And I said, you will get the best version of Jacoby Brissett with the Cleveland Browns that he's ever been a part of. And so far, through 3 weeks, that's exactly what you've gotten. After the first week, he was a little bit rusty, a little bit, errant on some throws. I said, dude, that's going to happen when you've only played one quarter of football in the preseason and then you're thrust into a starting position. I don't think he was well prepared. They spent a lot of times preparing, a lot of their offseason splitting reps between Jacoby Brissett and Deshaun Watson. And then when it came down to preseason or meaningful, practice football, he only had one quarter in the preseason. And I said, this is what's going to happen. You are going to get the best version of Jacoby Brissett, because everywhere that Jacoby Brissett has been until now has been a quarterback-driven offense that you have to have, a stud, just, absolute game breaker at quarterback. He started with New England. He got thrust into a starting position there where Tom Brady ran that show. And if it wasn't for Tom Brady, they are what they are now with Mac Jones. Then he went to Indianapolis, where Andrew Luck ran the show, and without Andrew Luck, they are what they are now. They're not doing anything. And then they went to Miami, and in Miami he had limited success, but with limited weapons. He had Jalen Waddle, and that was it. That's nobody else. Now he's with the Browns. He's got Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Amari Cooper, David Njoku. He's got a good defense outside of the fourth quarter in half the games that we played. He doesn't have to be the superstar. He doesn't have to be the stud. And I said, you are going to see. Even in those other situations where you had to be like a star quarterback in order to win games, he wasn't that far. He was just below 500. 4 or 5 games below 500. He won games in those situations, and now you're putting him on a situation where he's got all the help in the world and the best offensive line he's ever had. Amari Cooper's the best wide receiver he's ever had. The best running game he's ever had. I'm telling you, I even went as far as saying that Jacoby Brissett would, at the end of the 11 games suspension of Deshaun Watson, there's going to be people that are going to be, especially with Deshaun Watson's issues, that are going to be clamoring for us to just keep playing Brissett. Mark my words, it's going to happen. And I also said that after this year, if the Browns decide to move Jacoby Brissett, which they very well may, because there is going to be a market for him. He's putting together some really good game tape right now. I said that at the end of the season, there are going to be some teams that need a quarterback that aren't going to be in a position to draft a quarterback that are going to be looking at Jacoby Brissett based off of the performance that he was about to put on the field this year. And so far, through 3 games, tell me I'm wrong. I don't like to toot my horn. I love to toot my horn. Steelers, last place in the division now, 2 losses, at least for now. The Bengals, I think the Bengals have 2 losses too, so they're fighting it out for the cellar. And then you have the Ravens at 1-1, Browns at 2-1, and Browns at first place in the division with Jacoby Brissett. Get off Stefanski's back, by the way, while we're at it. I don't know what it is about Browns fans. I think we've gone through like 21 coaches in the past 21 years or something like that. So it's just like hardwired, ingrained into some of you people to just want to fire the coach for every little hiccup. I mean, it's absurd. His offensive play calling is astounding. Outside of that 3rd and 1 or 4, I think it might have been 4th and 1. Yeah, 4th and 1. Where he decided to throw the ball instead of give it to Chubb or Hunt. Outside of that one play yesterday, the play calling was immaculate. It was perfect. The offensive play calling against the Jets was perfect. Immaculate. Don't. Stefanski, do you really want another Freddie Kitchens or a Hugh Jackson? Because you risk getting another one of those if you fire Stefanski and you try and get somebody else. So get out of don't even come at me with that, Stefanski's got to go stuff. Joe Woods, on the other hand, man, he's still got to prove it. They finished out the game this week, and against the Steelers with a struggling offense, the defense looked pretty good, even without Myles Garrett being effective, which people were complaining about Myles Garrett not being effective. Remember, he almost didn't play because of a neck injury. There's no Jadeveon Clowney on the other side, and they were just throwing 3 blockers at him all day long. They had a tackle, a tight end, and a running back on him all day long. And even doing that, they would run away from him, and you expect him to be productive. He did a lot of disruptive things without getting a sack. You got to realize that, too. Otherwise, I'm not complaining. I'm happy. Anytime the Steelers lose, I'm happy. Anytime the Browns win, I'm happy. And anytime that happens on the same game, I'm real happy. So that's it. That's all I'm going to leave you with. We go to Atlanta next week. They haven't been very good. It's a good chance to be 3-1. Good chance to be 3-1. We'll see how the Browns respond after a big win, since they responded well after a heartbreaking loss. We'll see how they respond after a win, because you have to respond well to both situations. See you later, guys. Bye.